Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Gary and this is domain number 2 within the Identity Anchor Standards. Before we get started, I would encourage you to go back and look at the unpacking of all of the anchor standards within the tolerance.org outcomes. I am simply an educator trying to understand the social justice outcomes and standards a little bit better. But with that, if you want to follow me along, please hit the subscribe button and do so with me. Comment below if you have questions. Let's get started. So today we're going to talk about domain number 2 within the Identity Anchor Standards. What I'm going to be looking at is how students can develop a language and historical and cultural knowledge that affirm and accurately describe their membership in multiple identity groups. When I first think about this domain, I think about history and how history can be so rich, not just as the self and individual, but the experiences within family members, within different groups, and within culture on a whole. I think it's extremely important that students are able to experience this, understand it, and make connections within their communities to understand their identities a little bit better. So first, let's take this domain and let's break it down just a little bit. Let's break it down into development and language. Let's break it down to historical and cultural knowledge. And let's break it down to affirm and accurately describe, and also membership in multiple identity groups. I want to give you a second. Let's take a moment and just think about exactly what those 4 things mean. And like in the classroom, they're going to mean something different to everyone. This domain is all about having students connect themselves to the outside world and their place in the classroom and community and with other people or groups, and that relate to them and their experiences. Again, if students are given the opportunity to relate and connect with people that they are interested in, they are instantly going to be engaged. They're instantly going to be invested in that time to find out more and make those connections to the people that they care about. Let's not forget that these identities and membership groups include a lot of different spaces. When I talk about spaces, I'm talking about gender, I'm talking about race, I'm talking about culture, I'm talking about language. I'm also talking about religion and ability. These are all different spaces that students may look into when trying to identify what group that they'd like to discuss or connect with. It's extremely important that during this work, students are feeling a sense of pride, a sense of confidence, a sense of value, and simply understanding their worth. And then on top of that, understanding the worth of their classmates and the worth of the people in the world around them. First thing I think about when I think about this domain is really powerful research and students dissecting articles and videos and stories and understanding their history and culture a little bit more. This can come from rites of passages and articles. This can come from videos or any other type of media you feel suits best for your students. You could have all of these types of media out for students to look into. You can ask students to ask their parents about this work as well. Once students are given the opportunity to research and find out information about the individual or group, it's important that they have time to reflect and make those connections between them and what they've found. Tolerance.org has a number of resources that you can use to help with this standard. One thing I am not into personally is reinventing the wheel. Sign up for tolerance.org, put your email, and you will have access to a number of resources that allow you to start this work right away. One of the resources that I found that I thought was pretty cool was an article about Frederick Douglass. In this article, they talk about Frederick Douglass and his speech. It talks about students and their reflection on what they were listening to and noticing when they were talking about Frederick Douglass. They talk about some of the hardships of Frederick Douglass and how educators didn't want him to learn how to read and write and how he figured this out on his own. It talks about what Frederick Douglass needed and what he wanted and what he fought for. All of these questions and scenarios are ideas of how you can tackle this domain. In 3rd grade this year, we wrote Important People magazines. What students did was they connected their identity to someone that they really inspired to be like. For these magazines, students had to find individuals that they could relate to. Once they found these individuals, they made Venn diagrams to compare and contrast both of their lives. They also wrote down the most important aspects of their lives and compared it to theirs. They made timelines that included events and experiences that also related to them in their life as well. Once students were finished, they were asked to figure out a way to connect to this person. How would this person find their letter or find their writing? Some of us reached out via Twitter, some of us wrote letters, and that is exactly what it's all about. When students are given this work and it is done with a purpose, it can be extremely powerful. When students have information that relate to them and their identity, that is when the real work happens. That's it for domain number 2 in the identity anchor standard. I hope it wasn't too messy. Don't forget to subscribe and follow me on this journey. Hit the like button. Comment below if you have questions. Until next time.